Hey guys, I'm Chris, this is Kim, and in today's video, we are going to be checking out this power station that's half the price of its competitors and this portable refrigerator that I didn't even know that we needed. And I wind up screwing up royally. If you want to see what happened, stick around, check it out. All right guys, I'm gonna have to come clean about what exactly happened last night. All right, let's start out with this power station here real quick. You don't get a lot of bells and whistles with this, but you get enough to make it really worth it for the price point. You get all your USB connections right here, you know, regular and USB-C, several 12-volt options here, and then you got your little light over here, and of course, you know, your readout. You got your power in, and this is your solar input, and it specifically says do not exceed 50 volts or it could damage it. If you do decide to plug in solar, just check your specs and make sure you're not going over 50 volts. And of course, this is your overload reset in case the inverter trips and you try to pull too much power from it, it'll set, and then you can just hit this button and it'll reset it. And then over here, you got your power ports, which you got 6 of these things, which I think is, they always put a ton of these things on these, but it's a bit of overkill. But you can plug 6 different things into it. And just like the Bluetooth, you could hook a 20 amp extension cord up to this, get a 20 amp adapter to plug into your RV, and you can power your entire RV with just this thing. And it'll power all your outlets in your RV, just like it was plugged to shore power, and you can use up to 2400 watts at a given time. Like a microwave is about 1500 watts, and then you have 1000 watts left over to run your TV, your internet, charge your phones, all that stuff. So it basically works the exact same as the Bluetooth that we checked out. And yes, I said Bluetooth, because I got a lot of comments in that last video about it's pronounced Blue Eddy. Well, go call their customer service and see how they pronounce it. It's a challenge. Do it. Anyway, there's a couple differences between that one and this one. And like this one doesn't have wireless charging on the top here. And honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that. I have a power station. I'm probably not going to use it to charge my phone that way. I usually have cords laying around everywhere. But it does have one thing that I really like over the more expensive one. And that's this right here. It's got a little place to put the wires. It's just enough room that you can put the power cord, a regular 15 amp plug, AC power, and then your solar charge controller where it's got a couple of MC4 connectors right here you can plug in your solar with, which I plan to try to check out later in the video. But that's the one thing that kind of bugs me about the other power station is I got no place to put the wires. And then when you go to use it, it's like, where did I put the wires for? So this stays with it, and you can tote it around. It's not super heavy. It does have some weight to it, but nothing crazy. Okay, and just like every other power station, it comes with an app. And you can control it remotely. You can turn on the AC, the DC power, and the USB out ports show right there. And you can also remotely turn on the light and shut it off. And we're going to be using it in just a moment to cool down this refrigerator. 2400 watts is plenty to do most things. Another thing I like about this is its size. It fits in the back seat of the truck really well. And that's going to really help with the test with the fridge because we're taking this thing on the road. All right, so this is one of the ICECO portable refrigerators. It has plugs, of course, to plug into AC or your car DC power. And those plug into right here. And this is your power control. So you turn it on, and then you can control temperature settings up and down over here. It also has a little USB port, which I'll probably never use. It does look really nice, and it doesn't weigh as much as I thought it was going to be a lot heavier. Apparently it's only like 32 pounds, but it does look nice. It's got some nice fit and finish. When you look in here, this one has 2 different compartments. You can either have a fridge refrigerator or a fridge refrigerator. So if you want frozen stuff over here and cold drinks over here, you can do that. But if you have more frozen things that you want to keep down to temperature, you can have it freezing over here, and you can put your soft drinks over here. It's really well built. Like, it doesn't feel cheap at all. But of course over here too, it's got QR codes you can scan and download the apps, and of course control the temperatures and everything up and down with your phone, which I'll probably do more than anything. All right, so this is why this wasn't even on our radar to begin with, is because we have a 12-volt refrigerator that's basically a full-size refrigerator with 2 freezer compartments. So we were like, we don't need another fridge or refrigerator. We left a YouTube post and asked you guys, would you like to see a review? And all of you said yes, except for one person. Also, our YouTube friends that we've recently come to know, which you guys got to check out their YouTube channel. They got a lot of good stuff going on over there. But I talked to them and they said they had an issue with their 12-volt refrigerator. And if that thing goes down, it's nice to have somewhere to put your stuff in an emergency. But also, when they have long travel days, they like to carry drinks and food inside the truck so they don't have to stop and go into the RV and get stuff out of there. And that's kind of why I picked this one, because it fits in the back seat, which, you know, who else fits in the back seat? Finney. So he's got to have room for him back there too. That's why we picked a little bit of the smaller one. But the first thing we're going to do is we are going to power this thing with the inverter. And the reason why we're doing a review together is because some things just go together better. Like this thing, you have to either plug into an AC outlet, or if you're in your car, you plug it into your 12-volt power source. So you can't really take it any other place than that. But with the power station, you can take it wherever you want. All right, so let's get some power to this thing, and we're going to see how long it's actually going to take it to cool down to temperature. And there's one other cool feature I want to show you guys as soon as we get power to it. It's plugged in. And we're going to turn this light off. This I really like. The fact that you has a couple of lights in here, you can see what you're trying to find. So that's fantastic. And right now we are pulling 30 watts. It's saying it's 64 degrees in here. On that side it's 71 degrees. Now we're using 61 watts, which really isn't much. And so we got the timer running, and when this gets down to temperature, we'll check back in with you. So as you can see, it's down to 41 degrees in the refrigerator, and it's down to 5 degrees in the freezer. Got down to temperature on the refrigerator side to 41 degrees in less than 5 minutes. I probably just wasn't paying attention, and when I checked the clock, it was like 23 minutes, but I opened it up and it was already at 5 degrees. So I don't know how long it took to get to 5 degrees, but definitely within 23 minutes of total time for it to do both sides. Just so you know, if you're gonna pack up and go somewhere, you just got to plug this in about 20 minutes before you have to leave, and it'll be down to temperature. It'll be freezing on the side, and your drinks are going to be cold on this side, so you can just put everything in it. And if we look over here at the power station, we're at 97%, so only use 3% to cool it down, because we're going to go load this up with some special ingredients, and then we're going to take this on a little trip and adventure with us. All right, so we're going to check this real quick. According to the temperature, saying 39 degrees in there, about 7 degrees in there. In all fairness, I did open this up once, but it's pretty spot on. All right, guys, as you can see, it's the next morning. When I see some of these reviews, they put these things under like the best conditions. I'm not a big fan of that. I like to push things to the limit and put them under the worst conditions. So that's what we're going to do. It's the Florida summer, and I don't think you can throw anything hotter and meaner at it than a good Florida summer. And we're going to start this thing out by plugging this thing in. This thing has warmed back up, so it's ambient temperature right now. This thing's at 100%. We're going to plug it in, let it cool down. I know a lot of people start these tests, they cool it down first and then plug it into a battery bank or something like that. We're not doing that. We don't pull any punches. We give it to you straight. We're going to run to Walmart. We're going to get some groceries, and hopefully by the time we get back, that'll be cool, and we'll be able to put some goodies in there, and we're going to see how this thing's doing. Just turn on the inverter. That's powering up. You can see one side's 77, the other side's 80. We're starting to see it ramp up. 30 watts. It's using 75 watts. We'll see how this goes. And this was the one thing I was telling you about. Look, it real nice right in here. Doesn't take up much space. All right, we're here waiting for a pickup. Refrigerator portion is already down to 39 degrees, and that was only a few minute drive. And we are already down to about 46, I think. Can you guys read that? We got a little ways on the freezer to go, but I have a feeling by the time we get back, it'll be about down to temperature. And we're going to check our power stations at 99%, and it is pumping out 50 watts right now. If it keeps up like this, we should be in good shape by tomorrow morning. All right, we're loaded up. Good grief, shorted a bunch, but not all that's going in the fridge. And that's one of the reasons why we got the little bit smaller one, is because look how nice that fits back here. Doesn't take up much room, and of course our puppy Finney, he rides right back here. Refrigerator part's 39 degrees. Freezer part is at 12 degrees, but it's working its way down. It's using about 50 watts right now. Says it has about 23 hours left to go. And it's still cooling down the freezer, so I'm hoping that's going to last a lot longer than that, because like once it gets down to temperature, it shouldn't have to go any farther. But here's the thing. It's still early in the morning. That sun is creeping up over those trees, and there is no shade for this truck. So this truck is going to be out in the hot sun all day. So we'll probably come back about 2 o'clock and see where we're at, because if leaving this thing in a hot truck isn't a good test of how far you can push it, I don't know what is. So we'll check back in a little bit. I've been kind of keeping an eye on this thing, and it's saying 44 refrigerator and 30 in the freezer. That's kind of pushing it. It's barely keeping up, but man, it got hot throughout the day, and I just don't think it could keep up in this Florida summer. Like, it's not getting down to temperature like it should. This should be about 37 degrees, and that should be about 5 degrees. And right now we're looking at 46 and 30 degrees. It's at 64%. And this thing's been running nonstop though, trying to keep up. It hasn't got down to temperature, so it's been going and going and going. Okay, in all fairness, and pick up some stuff from the mail, and I looked over here and I did notice that one of the puppy's beds was sitting over here right against the vent where it's supposed to let the air out. So that probably wasn't real fair, but I didn't give it anywhere for the air to go. So that might have been a little bit on me. Accidents happen, things happen. So we're just going to keep letting this test roll and see where we get, because this is reality. Stuff happens. Wasn't paying attention. That's why we make these mistakes, so you guys don't have to. It's a hot one out here. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to come clean about what exactly happened last night. When I woke up this morning, the batteries on this thing were about like 6%. You can see here. What happened was yesterday, like I said, I accidentally clogged up the vent on this thing right here, so that this ice box, the actual box, was getting super hot. And it was in the truck, which was super hot, which was kind of just like a gauntlet that we were trying to throw it through, just, you know, put it in the worst conditions. Because I've seen reviews on this thing and that people do, and they put it like in the best conditions. And if you can see what it can do when it's the worst, then you'll know what you're going to get on a good day. So we put this thing through the test. We left it in the truck, and it barely was keeping the freezer below freezing. It wasn't getting down to 5 degrees where I set it, and it was like about 30 degrees. It wouldn't get up any higher because, like I said, I clogged that up. This got hot, and then once this thing was hot, it was basically fighting itself. The system was trying to cool it, and it was just so hot that it was warming it up at the same time. So it took till like the evening before it finally calmed down. So this thing was basically running like full steam almost all day yesterday. Basically, this ran it for almost 24 hours. And that's not the way this is supposed to run. It's supposed to get down to temperature, and then once it gets there, it just has to maintain it and kick the compressor on when it needs to. And that's what when we got up this morning, that's what it does. Like we went and checked on our app, and this thing was running at sometimes like 2 or 3 watts. And then a little while later, it'd be kick on it up to like, 30, 40 watts. Not much. Like most of the day, it was running like 60 to 80 watts all day because this thing was just fighting itself. That is on me because I clogged up the vent. I'll take that one. I'll take the blame for that, but who knows how long it would have lasted. But it lasted 24 hours, even with this thing running full steam ahead. It wasn't in eco mode, it was on max, but they both survived. And so I did have to wind up, this was at 6%. It's at 59% now because I threw it on the charge, plugged it in for like an hour, and it got like up to 60% in about an hour. So it charges pretty fast. But we got some more surprises in here to share with you today. We're going to show you how this works with the solar too. Actually, we're going to go ahead and set that up now. And remember, I told you guys one thing I really liked about this is it has a storage place for the wires. And we got our MC4 connectors here. 200 watt solar panel that we're just going to stick out here, see how much power we can gather today. We just plug these in, Oh, I heard it beep. So they're a little dirty, but should be all right. And if we come back over here, I don't know if you can see or not, but we're pulling in 39 watts and we're only using 25 right now. We're bringing in more than we're putting out. All right, we're early birds. We like to get out here early and get a good spot. And it's only 8:38 and the sun is just going to start collecting more solar as the sun gets higher in the sky. It's still pretty low over here, but it is sunny and hot. I'm just going to screenshot it on my phone and you can see that we're pulling in 42 watts, we're using 25 watts, and we're at 59% power. And it's only a 200 watt panel. It's not a lot, but it should be enough to keep this thing running and charge that battery at the same time. And you know, both these companies wanted me to do a dedicated video to their product. And I talked to them both and I explained to them some things just go together better, like peanut butter jelly, bacon and eggs. Chris and Kim, to really utilize this cooler off grid is you got to have some kind of battery bank or power source. Either that or you're plugging it into a wall or you're plugging it into your car. And right now the truck is sitting here and with the ignition off, none of the outlets get power. So we won't be able to power this thing. Yes, it'll stay cool for a while, but eventually it's going to get warmer. So every time you open it up, it's going to keep getting warmer and warmer. I'm going to keep something special in here frozen. So this is the first time I've opened this thing since I loaded it up. I'm already steaming hot out here and it is ice cold. Oh, it's ice. It's not covered in ice and condensation coming down, but it's super cold. We're going to enjoy the day a little bit and then we're going to come back and we got some stuff to cook up in here. I think you guys going to like it, so. We didn't really eat breakfast, so we're eating a little early. I think it's about 10:30, almost 11 o'clock. This is what we got. We have some hot dogs, some good old potato salad. A lot of beaches and places, you can't have fire, so you can't put out a grill. And a lot of times, like when things are dry, you have burn bans. You just can't grill and do that stuff. So we actually brought our Ninja Crispy. It's just a little air fryer, and you can plug it into there and have a nice little lunch. Nice crisp for how long?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. I'll just screenshot it so you guys can see. Almost 1500 watts, 1476 watts. And we got 71 watts coming in. It's cranking now, but it's only going to be running for 4 minutes. So it's not that much. And yes, these panels are tiltable, where they have a little thing in the back that flaps so you can tilt them up, and we would be getting more power from them. So I know somebody's going to say like, hey, why don't you tilt the panels so they'll get more power. We're just going to lay them flat and we get what we get. Are you ready? Those look good. We'll catch up with you in a bit. Well, the hot dogs were delicious and potato salad was fantastic. Perfect beach lunch. It was super convenient just throwing it in the air fryer and letting it cook. But now comes the time where it's dessert. Let's see what we got here. We've got some ice cream. And not just ice cream. That's the one thing about bringing a cooler to the beach and stuff like this is we're never really be able to bring like frozen stuff because it'll melt. This is a real treat. Hopefully we'll be able to do this more often, but that's not all. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been drinking some root beer. So what we're going to do is making some root beer floats. I haven't had a root beer float and I couldn't tell you how long. Hopefully this comes out okay because my neighbors over here playing their music kind of loud, and I'm going to use my best to use our software to isolate that out. Hopefully you won't be able to hear it. And we'll throw some root beer in here. Oh man, I haven't had one of these in forever. There you go, Kimber. Root beer float. And that was the one thing I was worried about, keeping that ice cream cold in that hot truck this whole time. And how was it, Kimber? She said refreshing. She might not be able to hear that, but that's good. So we had to pack up and leave. Our neighbors were playing louder music and some really inappropriate words were coming out. So we had to hightail it out there. Anyway, we still had a fun morning at the beach. Thanks to ICECO and AFERY for sending these products out to check out. And even though I screwed up majorly by blocking off this vent, it still performed. It kept our food cold, but then it did suck down the power of our power bank here, but it still lasted almost 24 hours. It seems like a pretty good bang for your buck power station. You know, puts out 2,400 watts. It's got a 2,000 watt hour battery. We put the ICECO cooler through the torture test and it survived. If you guys are interested in either one of these products, we'll leave them down linked in the description area below. They did not pay us, so they don't have any say-so over what we say about these things. So these are our own opinions. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. You know, you guys asked for this review, so we did it. Thanks for coming along. If you enjoyed, subscribe, notification bell, all that fancy jazz. Give this video a big thumbs up. Shows that you appreciate the content, because we appreciate you guys. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye.